Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing. Registration granted by SEBI, membership of BASL, and certification from NASM in no way guarantee performance of the intermediary or provide any assurance of returns to investors.
So, why did I stop investing in active mutual funds? It's not because of expense ratio. It's not because of any other thing. It's just because it creates a lot of stress for me, right? So let's go to here. Let's go and ask ChatGPT, which were the top 5 mid-cap funds in India in 2020, right? Here is a list that I get. If you have been an investor in mutual funds in India in 2020, you would have known that some of these best funds in 2020, right? Axis Mid Cap Fund, Kotak Emerging Equity, DSP Mid Cap Fund, L&T Mid Cap Fund, and PGIM India Mid Cap Opportunities Fund. These were the funds which used to come up for investing, and everybody would have had these funds in their portfolio in 2020. Now, if I ask the same questions again today, right? What are the rankings of these funds today, right? So if I look at the ranks, what happened in the last 5 years? Now the Axis has come down to 10th. DSP has come down to the mid performance. L&T has come down to lower tier performance. Right now, let us see what has actually happened in the last 5 years of their performance. Let me go to Google and then see. Let me compare these funds with the benchmarks. So in the last 5 years, my benchmark returns has been 251%. Right? If I compare to say L&T Mid Cap Fund, which has now become HSBC, Mid Cap Fund. In the last 5 years, this has given me 225% return compared to the benchmark, which is 251%, right? So now this is a 25% lesser return in the last 5 years. Let me look at DSP, which was another top-rated fund in 2020. Now this has given me only 171% return. There is an 80% drop, right? Compared to the benchmark. I'm not comparing with the best performing funds of today, but I'm just comparing with the benchmark, right? Against the benchmark, it has given me 80% lesser return in the last 5 years. And the other one has given me, 25% lesser returns the last. This is the, 2 out of the top 5 funds in 2020 has given me much lower than the, the benchmark. That's why it gives us a lot of stress. So whatever the best performing funds today, I don't think it may be the same case with them in the next 5 years time. And now if I have to switch these funds, right, whatever the returns that I earned, 225% or 170% that I have earned, I have to pay another 12.5% tax on this, right, to get to a better fund. And if I keep doing that in my life, and when my holding period is more than 15 years, and I do it 3 times, you can imagine the kind of loss that I would have incurred in building a portfolio with active funds over a 15-year period of time. So this is primary reason why it gives me a lot of stress, whether I'm going to have the right performing funds over the next 5, 10, 15 years in my portfolio. This is a big stress for me, and this is the only reason that I prefer not to invest in an active fund and go with just an index fund, which can anyway give me, where I don't have to worry about the underperformance, right? So that's it for today. And if you want any other questions, right, which ChatGPT cannot answer today, kindly mail us to help@jyotasolutions.com. Thank you for watching this.
This podcast is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subject matter covered. It is given with the understanding that the podcasters of this material are not engaged in rendering professional services through this program. If the listener requires personal assistance or advice, a competent professional should be consulted. The podcasters specifically disclaim any responsibility for any loss, liability, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence, directly or indirectly, of the use of any of the contents. The contents are general information that is intended to, but not guaranteed to be correct or updated. The information is not presented as a source of investment, insurance, or legal advice. You should not rely on the statements or representations made in this podcast or by any externally referenced sources. If you need investment or tax advice upon which you intend to rely in the course of your financial and business affairs, please consult a competent, independent, registered financial advisor. The content should not be taken as financial advice or as an offer to buy or sell securities, insurance, funds, or any financial products. It should not be taken as an endorsement, recommendation of any particular company or individual, and no responsibility can be taken for inaccuracies, omissions, or errors. The information presented is not to be considered as investment advice. The podcasters do not assume any responsibility for actions or non-actions taken by people who have listened to this program, and no one shall be entitled to claim for detrimental reliance or non-reliance upon any information provided or expressed herein. Your use of any information provided herein does not constitute any type of contractual relationship between yourselves and providers of such information. The podcasters hereby disclaim all responsibility and liability for all use of any information in this program.